Okay. Let me set this one up real quick. Were you home all day?
I worked from home today, and then just like right after, literally like an hour after I said I'd do this with you, one of my wife's best friends, who hasn't seen the baby yet, was like, "Hey, you guys come over for dinner." Like, so her best friend's pregnant and about to pop, and their other friend who's really close with them is also pregnant, and she's going to be induced on Friday, and so they're like trying to get all of us together, and I was like, "Well, I have this thing, so I'm gonna drop you and the baby off."
You can go back?
Yeah.
Alright, cool, dude. We'll knock this out like an
Oh,
hour.
yeah, it's no worries. It is no worries.
Nice. Turn that stupid fan off. Yeah, buzz
Actually, before we do it, I'm gonna take a leak just
Yeah.
to be safe.
Oh, dude, that's what I do. Exactly. I just did that.
Because I kind of, and I'm probably okay, but inevitably I won't be.
Like, it's all in our mind, right? Sure.
Actually, Eric's the only reason I have a PS5 because he stayed up and got it for me.
Oh, when it was released?
He followed like all the right Twitter channels and stuff, and would like get alerted, and because his HVAC stuff, like he'd be like, he'd have a handful of like downtime between stuff.
Oh, dang.
You know what I mean? Like, cause he's like doing work and then he's like sitting like waiting for his next call or whatever, and so he'd just keep hunting for me, and then eventually he was like, "Dude, I got one.
That's
You owe me
funny.
money," and I was like, "All right, cool."
I remember when my son was like stoked because his mom got for Christmas. He was all stoked with that. What is up, Insta? You guys are about to see backstage access, how I actually produce the Grace Blaze podcast. You're going to see backstage. You're going to watch this. Be nice to each other. I'm going to try to turn off the comments so you guys are nice to each other. And turn off commenting.
Yeah, chat.
Watch it, and yeah, we'll chat over there in Twitch. If you're following us on Twitch, you can chat with us on Twitch. And if I can't think of a question to ask Jeff, you guys can ask a question on Twitch. So make sure you follow us on Twitch for sure. And there's the scene right there with Jeff right there. There he is on the couch. Fantastic. Cool. So that's our Instagram. How's our Twitch people doing? You got your headphones?
Just about to.
Here's your my headphones. Chatting. What's up, Twitch? Hopefully you guys are doing well this wonderful Tuesday evening. We're about to start a podcast with Jeff Schultzzy, Mr. Schultzzy in a bit here. I want to get you guys a backstage exclusive on Twitch, just for my Twitch people and Instagram. So you guys are going to be right here with me. I want you guys to put some questions in the feed because I may not think of questions to ask them. So you guys are going to help me. We're going to do this together. We're going to go in and do a podcast with Jeff Schultzzy. You guys stay with us. Ask questions. Gameplay, there it is. Nice, we got the shot. Cool. You ready?
So trying something new, huh?
Yeah. I tried this last night on Twitch. Had fat perps in here, and we had that table over there, and we had the camera space that way, and we freaking had them like cutting tri-tip and eating tri-tip on the Twitch and everything like that, and everything.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, oh dude, it was freaking amazing. It was. Well, you're around it.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Oh yeah.
You ready for this? Before we go too far?
I guess.
We'll keep. We'll
guess.
go all night. Let's see here. What is up, podcast, and welcome to the Raised Place Podcast Network. We are with a great guest, a photographer from. Where are you from? Where city do you live in? I didn't even ask you that.
I'm in Orange now.
Orange now. Oh, fantastic. This guy is a amazing photographer. He does a lot of rock stuff. He does a lot of product and stuff like that. We'll get into it, but guys, we have an amazing show for you, Mr. Jeff Schultzzy. What's up, Jeff?
How you doing? Is this close enough?
There, yeah, go way close.
I can eat it.
You can hold it. You can
I
hold
can
it.
eat it. It's fine.
Totally. Yeah, Eric and Rich were all of it, I think.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I mean, they're musicians. They're used to it.
I should probably have you come down next time I interview them because it was out of control here, and there was no buffers. You weren't here to stop them.
That's true. That flamethrower steak was the first time I left them by themselves.
Oh, that was I saw that. They freaking put a steak on a tree.
It was great, but that's what happens when I leave them alone.
That was.
I think it's more. It's not even that. I think it's more about the fact that like they don't have all of my equipment around, so they like feel a little more like, oh, we can do this. Because normally there's like microphones and stuff set up to do that.
Right.
And so they like just felt like they had more license to.
They had some like freedom. They were like able to like stretch out, move their arms, and do some crazy stuff.
But really, they just say it's because I'm the fun police or something. I don't know.
They call you the fun police?
No.
That's awesome. Crazy. Jeff, I met you, again, we're talking about Rich and Eric from Grill Slingers.
Yeah.
They have an amazing YouTube channel, and that's how and we talked about you constantly throughout the show, and that's how I got to know you through the Grill Slingers. Come to find out, I'm an actual fan of yours. Didn't know that because I'm a fan of the show. So I watched the actual YouTube channel. I learned to cook from Eric, and I mean, the thing I was talking about with them is it's a hilarious show. Number one, it's crazy funny. We talked about in the podcast. We talked a lot about the shots, the freaking way it's filmed, the way it's produced, the timing of it, the whole thing. And it's just amazing. It's clean. It's professional. And then that's when they brought up the name Jeff Schultzzy. And then I started looking at your stuff on Instagram, like, holy crap! So this stuff is like legit photography, legit production. You shoot the show and you edit the show as well.
Yeah. So I pretty much sum it up as I shoot stuff. That's what I just shoot stuff. So you heard the story about how that started. I haven't been doing like photo video that long, and in fact, most of like a lot of learning happened shooting Grill Slinger stuff. So if you look at like the early stuff, you can watch it like get better and better because I just start to figure out little things.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because that was gonna be one of my questions. Like, we'll get into how deep you are with photography. That's your passion. That's what you do, 100%, right?
Sure, yeah.
But was Grill Slingers your first YouTube show that you produced?
So it's the first one that I have. I do help a couple people occasionally do some stuff. But for the most part, yeah, Grill Slingers is the only YouTube thing that is mine that I do. But there are some people that I end up like helping. Doing
little things on the side.
Or all of it and I let them take credit for it, but that's...
that's another story.
Hey, whatever gets you paid,
That's it. We'll put their handles at the very end of the show. I did this guy's show.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Grill Singers is the only that's ours. Me, Rich, and Eric. That was when they were talking about that hotline. That was mainly me and Rich asking Eric things.
That was you. Oh, so you were calling him like as
Well,
well.
yeah, it was like we had like our little group chat, and we blow up his phone and ask questions, and
Yeah, because he was saying like.
I haven't lit my grill on fire though.
You
I'm
didn't
not
get that
Richie.
far.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not Richie.
Richie couldn't even do the Traeger, which was incredible.
Well, so I did have an epic fail that Eric will enjoy that I said this. The first real time I tried to use that pellet grill, I may or may not have cleaned out the ash pot like I was supposed to because I have a pit boss also, and I have an acorn like a Komodo style.
The pit boss is that little black.
Well, so pit boss is just like a less expensive trigger.
Oh, nice. But is it a side burner or is it standing up? Like.
No, it's well they make both.
They
make both, but
oh, okay.
mine is like the combo thing. So anyway,
Nice.
Eric told me it was like the first time I was gonna try brisket and I was gonna try it overnight, he says I didn't listen. I really didn't like process.
It's two different things. Either processed or lit. He says he didn't listen. You say.
I didn't actively ignore him. I'm stupid. There's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
But I may or may not have had that thing go out because there was too much ash, and then I don't know if you know, but the little auger underneath keeps pumping pellets. So there's like a mountain of pellets and a cold brisket from overnight that I was cooking for the next day.
So if it's not lighting because the ash is completely covering the airflow.
Yeah, so it's hard to like explain, but there's like a little ash pot, right? And there's a little heating coil.
Right.
And if the ash gets too tall, the pellets don't hit the little heating spot. So
it's hot, but it's just not touching the pellets.
Right. So it just keeps heating up ash. So then the pellets keep pushing in, but they're not burning, so they just fill up and it gets cold.
And there's nothing cooking.
No, I definitely ruined that.
That is interesting that there are so many things to know about a Traeger, and that is one of the things I haven't heard. So that's good that you mentioned that.
You have to clean it. Yeah, that's like a thing.
It's a thing because you didn't clean the ash. Rich's accident was he didn't clean the grease.
Yeah.
And it completely caught on fire.
Yeah, I won't do that one. No, I like excitement, but I won't do that one.
That's crazy. When was the? Let's get into the history here. When was the first time you got into photography? When did you pick up the first camera?
I actually actively avoided. I think in high school I took like a video production class as like I thought it might sound fun for like an extracurricular, right? Just whatever.
Like filming and stuff like that?
Yeah, but it was like a basic thing, and I never thought anything of it. In fact, we had to take like other art stuff, and I actually specifically remember avoiding cameras. Like I was like, I don't want to do photography. Like I'll just go draw and get my art credit that way. I'm out.
Within the class?
Yeah. Well, no, like other than that. But anyway, I ended up picking up a camera because me and a buddy were recording bands, and we noticed that. It was like our little side hustle thing, and it really, it was steady, but we noticed that people were hiring people to come shoot them, right? Like while they were in the studio, because people want like the cameras and stuff, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
So we just were like, well, what if we did that too? Like maybe we.
This was what year was this?
Oh man.
Or what years you think?
That was probably like 6 or 7 years ago now.
So people are people just starting to get. Because obviously Instagram's been around for a while, but recently it's been like an explosion of Instagram, TikTok, and different social media platforms where people really heavily. I mean, they were 6 months ago, but did you see that in the music industry or in your area?
Yeah, I mean it's social. I mean,
people wanted that video.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was more than that. People were trying to use it to make like their little small. And it was just local bands. It was nothing big.
Yeah.
But they were trying to make. They have their little photo shoots for social media, and they have their like little tiny in studio music videos to have someone put it together, and nothing like
YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, nothing over the top, like real simple DIY stuff.
Nice.
And we were just like, oh, we could do that too, and I actually drug my heels on that too, and I didn't want to do it, and then I bought a camera, and I went out for the day I bought it. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll go figure it out. I like a lot of nature stuff, despite looking like I don't like to hike. I really do. So I went out and took some pictures and was like, "Oh, this is cool."
So the music in the beginning wasn't what caught you. It was more of like when you got out there with the camera and you started shooting nature. Is that what made you?
So I did that, and then maybe like a week later, I had a friend that played in a band that he's a drummer, and he was just begging me because drummers never get like. It's super rare that drummers get
Nobody
good photos.
sees that.
Yeah, which I'm a drummer, so
I was the drummer too.
so playing in bands with Richie and Eric, I was the drummer.
Oh, is that how you guys met? You guys were in a band together?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so Richie was in one with Eric before I was in one with Eric and then played shows, and Richie had a separate band, and then it was this whole like thing, and then we ended up playing together. Anyway, he just was like, dude, I know you got that camera, like just come try. So like, all right, fine, I'll come try. And what I didn't realize is that like, well, first I like being involved in all that stuff, right? Like music is.
You're a musician, so you want to be around it, like pretty much. Like myself, when I played music, even if I wasn't playing, I wanted to be watching bands or being in practices, watching other people practice, and just being around the whole scene.
Yeah, absolutely. So I ended up taking some pictures of that and enjoying it, and kind of did it again and did it again. And what I didn't realize is that I was probably learning one of the harder things of photography because I was shooting metal bands. Like local metal bands, so they're running around like crazy.
Damn, they're jumping on fire and.
Well, and it's like it's small venues too, right? Like so they're not super well lit. They're not like they don't have anything fancy. It's like as simple as it gets. But like shooting sports is hard because you have to have certain settings to do stuff like that to make sure you can catch motion and all these nerdy things that's a whole.
Basketball. No, but I do want to talk about that. Like with sports, you have to run up and down the court if you're or I don't know. I've seen some of the photographers getting hit by a basketball player at the end of the court, just sitting there. So is it possible to sit there and shoot the whole thing, or do some of them have to move? Is there a difference?
So you stalk my Instagram.
I totally saw your Instagram. I saw you doing like DJ stuff. That's what tripped me out. Like, how did you do that?
DJ stuff.
Like you were shooting like there was like a DJ on the stage.
Yeah.
And there was like a huge crowd. Emo night.
So that's not the music that was playing, but that's So now one of the things is doing emo night. They hit me up when they come through. Emo night Brooklyn strangely travels around. They do stuff everywhere.
That's what is it? Is it a production team?
So it's literally they send out a DJ to these venues and they play like My Chemical Romance and Paramore and like the old emo, that kind of
emo music.
And they draw a lot of people. Like they'll do the Observatory, they'll do House of Blues, and it's pretty. It's not sold out, but it's pretty full.
Yeah, the crowd looked huge. It was amazing. It was lit.
So yeah, they have me come out, and that doing that little video I think that you're talking about was the Echoplex. So it's not like a huge spot, but there was a lot of people, and it was just a transition trick. That was all.
Yeah, it's dope because I don't know if you need something with the lighting, but also you're moving around the DJ and you've got different positions and you're shooting from all those different things. So that's there's something to that, right?
Yeah, I mean it's perspective, right? Like it's the one thing like when people ask all the time about how to like shoot something to make it like we'll talk like Richie and stuff and Eric. I'll take pictures of food and they'll put it on Girl Singer's Instagram.
Yeah.
But then they'll take pictures and they're like, how do you like you do it different? How do you do that? And I was like, well, like really the key is to get video footage or photos in a way that people don't normally see it. Like if you want them to feel like they're there, you make it feel like okay, this is how you would see it. But if you want to make it feel like larger than life or give it some sort of different like vibe, like again moving around the DJ, like most people don't get to just go walk behind a DJ with a crowd full of people.
Yeah.
So if I can make someone feel like they're there but give them a perspective that's different, like I can kind of shape that like little reality in that moment.
Oh hell yeah, that's huge. Just like what we're doing here, where I'm interviewing you with podcast, but I got a camera up here, going Twitch, we got Instagram over there, so just giving a different perspective, getting some backstage access, just like the DJ thing where you're behind the guy. It's stuff that it blows your mind because the audience, the customer, the fan doesn't get to see that behind the stage action, behind most of the time you see shots like right in front of the stage, facing the stage and stuff like that. But to have that perspective, and it's almost like, and I'm glad you said that, it's like when you're shooting the food thing. Like when I'm shooting like food, I'm like trying to get these angles to get the food right because like my daughter shoots way better than me, and she's always like, "Dad, your photos suck." Like let me, she'll grab the phone out of
Well,
my
get
hand.
good then.
Yeah, she's good. So she'll get angles that I've never seen, and she's the one that taught me how to like that stuff like that. So that's a lot of stuff that you deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot. There's really just a lot. But yeah, one of the things I'll say is to make sure that you're shooting something in a way that people don't normally see it, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then what is because I know there's a lot of photographers like chatting in the chat room. Ramon's one of them. He's in the chat room.
Uh oh.
So we're talking about photography with Jeff Schultz here for you guys on Twitch. What is one of the questions that often, of course, is always like, what does light have to do with like how important is lighting?
Well, photography is
It's all lighting,
it's all it's all lighting. I would encourage someone to spend more money on lighting than I would on a camera.
Really?
Like if you're gonna do something static like sitting here, yeah. Just because how you shape it gives a completely different vibe. I mean, you can shoot the same exact thing with one light and it's high fashion, and you shoot another and it's like dark and moody and like gritty. But
Depending on what you want.
and it could be the exact same thing, just
Wow.
depending on how you like move light and like shift shadows. And I mean, think about it, right? Like if you want to tell a scary story over a campfire, you point the flashlight up, and all of a sudden it's terrifying, and nothing looks any different. It's just the light.
Right, yeah. We had Aaron Ashby on the show. He's a photographer as well, and he talked a lot. He actually explained it like he went through this whole story of like this lady walking through this dark house, and then she moves into it. She's like looking into rooms, looking in other rooms, and this is like a video that you're seeing, and then there's a box, but then like the lighting is in such a way that he shot it one way, and where it was like bright, so it was kind of an innocent shot, and you could have like music like nice music, and then change the music to like a darker music and a darker light, like more of a darker scene, and then it turns into something scary and luminescent.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
oh yeah, and that's one of the other things too. People don't that you touched on. People don't like when you go into video, doing like having sound effects and things and like the right. I mean, you'd be surprised how big of a difference that actually makes. And like, it's not you don't even think about it when it's playing and you see it, but if I took it away, you would know it was missing.
Big time. It's like your favorite movies. Like the movie would instantly change if you pulled the music out of the dramatic scenes or stuff like that.
Sure.
It would just totally change the thing. So the effect of lighting, the effect of the sound, it all makes a big difference in the piece.
Oh yeah, and yeah. I mean, you can't really do video or photo without light. So then it just how you shape it is how you tell your story.
That's awesome. And then to take it down to the basic level for people that are out there that are shooting for social media and stuff like that, having things like ring lights, little things like that
Sure.
help, right?
Yeah, so like ring lights are cool. Like you got a couple here. One of the things, like if you want something cool for social, there's two things that I'll tell people a lot for social. Is that getting it's called a catch light in someone's eye, right? Like it's a reflection off a window. You probably see it in mine from your right there, like a little glare in someone's eye.
Yeah.
When you try to control light too much, you don't really see that. Or if it's too bright, there is no like. It's just all kind of the same. But having the ring light, that's one of the things you see, like the halo over people's eyes.
Yeah, you see the ring.
But with other lights, you can kind of move them off to a side and get like this little like gleam that people like. And the other one I say a lot too.
That's called a catch light?
Yeah, and someone catch lights and it's like what you get in your eye. Yeah.
No.
And then one that's not necessarily to do with light, but with color. The other thing I say with social a lot is people don't know when to use black and white.
Mm.
Or like they'll just this looks better in black and white and they don't know why.
To switch like the settings on your when you actually upload, you switch it to black and white or not.
Yeah, my thing with black and white is if you have like the same color but in different tones. So like if you have like a brown, a tan, and orange, and like a person, for the most part that's all kind of the different shades of the same color, like darker and lighter and maybe more more saturation, less, but it's all kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you flip it to black and white, all of a sudden that it just really pops.
Oh,
So if you have
okay.
something that's got a lot of similar colors in it, just flip it to black and white and you'll be like,
Nice. There's a tip for you. If you got something of the same colors in the shot, switch it to black and white and it makes everything pop.
yeah, yeah. Tattoos too. Tattoos look great in black and white.
Tattoos. There you go. Shooting tattoos on Instagram. Shooting things on Instagram. Let's talk about where most of your experience in that comes from. You said you were you got into shooting bands and stuff like that. You started shooting, we talked about the DJs you started shooting with the emo nights. Eventually, you landed a gig with Friedman Guitar Amps, right?
Yeah.
And they make not only amps, they make guitars. A lot of the big name bands use that equipment, right?
So that's actually how I met Austin.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how much he told you. I don't
No,
know how much I should say, but he knows what he's doing when it comes to making some guitars. I'll just tell you that.
Oh, yeah, he makes guitars too?
He used to help. I didn't tell you that. Shh.
Oh, wow. You heard that exclusively here on RaceBlaze.com.
He doesn't. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. Austin, I'm gonna message you. I'm sorry if I outed you or something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had him on the show. He's an engineer out of LA, I think, and he does a lot. Well, I found him through Forgotten Legion band.
Mm.
So and the music was just so clean, this crazy metal band, just super clean music. And I was like, how did you get that sound? And then he mentioned Austin. And then that's where the Pandora's box just opened to all the engineering and sound, and now you. It's crazy.
So I worked for a company that did the manufacturing for them. So I did the marketing, and then from there I did like the photo video. So it wasn't like for Friedman. It was with Friedman. It was like a partnership. But I did a few different brands.
Oh, so you worked for like a big manufacturer that manufactures different products, like Friedman and different.
Yeah. So yeah. There's a few brands that they work with essentially, and Friedman's one of them. But it's all like it's amp and guitar stuff, and it's all kind of that level. Like I think my favorite that was the last thing I did really before I was there was I got to help bring Saldana back to life. So like helping with all the photo and stuff for that, yeah, like
crazy. So all the different the amps that they have are like just like hardcore. Like when I was playing guitar back in the day, there maybe was like 5 knobs. These things have like 20 knobs in the front or something like that. They have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and then there's mods to boot, right? So like especially with like Friedman, Dave is a like a tone genius. That guy. He's a rad dude, but his ear is just insane, and he does all kinds of like little stuff to him. But yeah, that's how I met a lot of doing that was how I met a lot of these other like rock stars where I got to go shoot stuff for them.
That's crazy. So what are some of the guys that I know? I saw some shots of Steve Vai. You shot Steve Vai.
Yeah, that was for a brand called Synergy.
Oh yeah, that was another amp company, Synergy. That's right. Mm-hmm. Crazy. And who else did you shoot for?
Oh well.
Or who did you have? Like,
I mean, so like there'd be things like I would, like Billy from Macedon plays Friedman stuff, so I brought him an amp to the Greek, and we're hanging out shooting. Or like Every Time I Die, Andy played Synergy stuff for a while, so I'd bring him stuff, and then I'd go shoot them. And
nice.
So it's like, yeah,
that's good. So you're shooting like on site a lot, like on like where they're in the.
Well, yeah. So I do like the work thing, and then I do my thing. Like nobody really asked, but because I was doing marketing for them, it was like I could shoot the stuff myself, and then we'd just use it like for our socials and stuff.
That's cool. So you weren't just shooting the pictures; you were actually in charge of the marketing, so you can kind of shoot. Say, the shot's over there. It's at the Greek. I gotta go to the Greek.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. That's awesome. And where you did a lot of on-site stuff. You did a lot of stuff with the actual musicians. What about like actual like product shots, like individual close-up type product shots? Yep. You were involved in a lot of that stuff.
Well, yeah, I did them all too. Yeah.
Like web stuff. I know there's no catalogs anymore, but web stuff and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. and that's like it's different. Like that's a whole nother like discipline in and of itself of trying to do that and then retouch those so that they're perfect and give them the right shadows. And honestly, that job, there was a lot of things that I learned just by doing. And the guy that ran the company knew that that was going to be the case and put me with someone. There was someone that worked there already that was like a master retoucher.
Oh,
And
wow.
so he did stuff for like movie posters and stuff way back in the day.
Oh, dang.
So we would sit down and he'd like he would do them. He started them when I first got there, and by the time I left, it was like it was whoever was free would just like do all the retouching and clean it all up. Yeah.
Dang, so gave you that experience of retouching, showed you how to retouch the photos like that.
Yeah, and how he would do it, and so yeah, there was a big learning curve, but that definitely changed things for me for sure, because that's like I went from shooting some local bands and doing some stuff on my own to all of a sudden, here I am with Steve Vai.
Steve Vai, a legend.
And
how was that experience? How that?
Dude, oh, he's rad.
He came down to the shop, or did you go somewhere to?
Yeah, yes. We've gone. I went with him to a studio. He's come to the shop. We did a bunch of stuff at NAMM.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Dude's like a legend.
Yeah, it's weird to shake his hand because it like pretty much wraps all the way around mine because his hands are so big.
His hands are huge.
But just he's a great guy.
That's
I couldn't like stress that enough. He's so nice.
That would be insane to meet. I think my friend Ramon was actually saying he wanted to challenge Steve Vai like on the Crossroads movie. You remember the Crossroads movie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ramon was joking that he wanted to. He's on right now. I see him. Ramon thinks he's gonna have chops like Steve Vai. Not gonna happen. Steve Vai's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to meet guys like that are like he's still pretty humble.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
He's like one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived.
Yeah,
he's just like chill.
He's just hey, how are you guys doing today? Like asking about me, and I'm like, I'm just here to take some pictures.
I'm good. I'm talking to Steve Vai.
Yeah, meeting him for the first time. You meet someone like that. It can be a little nerve wracking, but then nerve wracking isn't the right word, but a little like. I don't know. I don't want to upset this person, but then it's like, oh hey, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? How's your day going? Like, what do you mean, how's my day going? Like, my day's been waiting for you. Like,
exactly.
Day, like,
thinking about I'm gonna be meeting Steve Vai today. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. But he made it more comfortable for you.
Oh yeah, he's great.
That's awesome. Shout out to Steve Vai. Steve Vai, you can come on to Race Blazers out. Yeah, you can go on the Race Blazers podcast. Absolutely, we'd love to have you. No problem at all. We'll have you. That's awesome. So yeah, we talked about the challenges of shooting with the emo production there. We talked about photography on shooting products, because products and actually on-site stuff. You got the on-site stuff. You're in an environment where you don't really control the light because there's a concert happening, right? So you're kind of just going into a situation, having to adjust basically, right, on the fly. Is that what usually happens?
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes you kind of know. You'll know that there's a certain something coming, like someone's got flame turrets or you know that it's gonna be like you're told it's gonna be hit at a certain time or like.
Oh, crazy! They're that like.
Oh yeah,
detailed.
Yeah. So sometimes you know to kind of like be in position for stuff, but for the most part it's pretty reactionary. But there's I think that's the advantage to being musicians, shooting musicians. Or a former musician, I guess, because I don't really play anymore.
No, you were a musician at one point. If you play guitar, you played an instrument. Some people can't even chew gum and rub the head at the same time. So you played the drums. That's a lot of things.
that's a couple things, yeah. Usually things repeat themselves, like songs, right? They have a chorus, a verse, and things like that. There's patterns, right? And a lot of times there's patterns in whoever's running the lighting too.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of like, or like how, for instance, some of these like shots where people are like walking up and I get like a cool light effect behind them or something, or I get like a flare. I know that they keep pacing in this certain way, so then I put myself in a spot so that it presents that opportunity for me, right? So I'm like, it's kind of a guess.
Because there's sometimes they're just you're like, why are they walking in the same place over and over again? You're like, you know there's a light about to hit right there somewhere.
Well, yeah, it's habitual, right? Like, I mean, how many times do you like just check your phone randomly? You're just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But it's the same when they're playing, right? They have like a comfort spot as they're doing stuff where people move around or do the same kind of general things. So you can kind of see like, oh, when this chorus, like this singer loves this chorus, so he goes nuts. And so you're okay, cool. Well, let me catch where he's gonna be, because I know that he's gonna do this one thing. Because at the end of it, he holds a note or whatever and throws his hair back and puts the mic in. And so you're like, oh, okay, cool. I know he does that. I'm gonna go stand there to catch that.
Yeah, you got to catch that shot. It's almost like, well, for you, there's the marketing aspect of it. But say you're like
Was. I don't do that anymore.
Was marketing, right? Because so now, so what do you do now?
So I shoot stuff, like I said earlier.
Just shoot everybody's
I actually have I do a lot of weddings and stuff and a lot of like
nice.
portraits. Yeah, that's its own other like business.
That's a whole other beast.
Like the good old the next adventure photography is what it's called when my partner Liz.
It's called the Next Adventure Photography.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That's one where her and I go and shoot a lot of weddings and portraits and family stuff. I'm for being someone that like shoots a lot of stuff and doesn't have like a ton of extra time, I sure don't post anything.
So you guys, I was going to ask you, you guys don't have an Instagram for it? You have an Instagram for it?
Yeah.
You guys got it?
Yeah,
okay,
it's separate. It's all that.
The next adventure photography on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, cool. So you guys got all your photography on that. I know I have a friend I had on the show who does like babies, little tiny babies, does weddings. So you're doing most of that stuff like that.
Yeah. So she'll do a lot of like. I'll do some of it too, but she does a lot of like the family stuff, and then we do all the weddings together typically, unless sometimes we're super busy and we have to, one of us goes one, one goes the other. But
nice.
We either both shoot photo or shoot the photo or the video, depending on what's going on.
And so you're starting to get a lot of gigs.
Yeah. It's I don't think I'll have any sleep in October between a 4-month-old or my now 4-week-old baby.
Oh yeah, congratulations! You just had a brand new baby girl, Amelia Grace.
Yeah. So if I don't make any sense, that's probably why.
You're doing pretty good for somebody with no sleep. She was born on June 3rd.
June 3rd. You're a stalker.
You are an expert, my friend, at baby pictures now. You have some background in it now.
Yeah, that's my running joke. Is
4 weeks.
That's my running joke. Well, so I've done some. My running joke though is that like I really am not good at photography, so I can take pictures of my kid.
Dude,
that's all.
That's awesome. You get free. I mean, that's something get expensive. So.
Tell me about it. I don't know the charges for it.
You're giving yourself a good discount. I hope.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot though.
Hey man, I'm charging myself a lot.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It hasn't been that long. Sometimes it kind of trips me out. I haven't been shooting that long, and I'm not that smart of a guy. I just kind of do it, and when you mess it up enough, you figure out how to do it right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have to make those mistakes in order to grow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So in between, how many years is it from shooting for the manufacturing of those amps and stuff like that up until now? How long have you been shooting for?
Maybe 7 years.
7 years.
6 or 7 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Actually, I could math. 6 years.
6 years. Wow. So man, that's a lot of great experience in between those 6 years, shooting product photography, shooting on-site stuff for metal bands, shooting studio work with some of the greatest guitarists in the world. That's pretty awesome.
I learned that I liked sharing perspective, and I think people's perspective like kind of is their reality. And I don't mean to go like too meta, but like what you see and what you like experience is what's real to you, right? And I think there are moments of playing even in a local band on a small stage where there's 2 people in front of you,
right?
That you still feel larger than life, and I want it to look that way, right? Like I want to capture that way
that
for somebody, yeah. And the same with like even weddings, right? Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how ugly I am. If I when I'm standing at the altar and I'm dressed up, I feel like I look good, right?
Oh yeah, when you're in a suit, you feel like a champion. You feel like yeah.
So I want someone to look back when they see when they see photos of that day that I took and feel good about themselves,
Nice.
right? So or see the perspective that it's the magical day that you know maybe the weather was terrible and everything went wrong that day, but when they look back and see the pictures, they're not going to remember that the caterer was an hour late and you know all that stuff. Like I'm trying to so trying to paint those kind of pictures.
A
for
pretty
folks.
picture because it's like I mean it's a great example. At my wedding, I had an amazing photographer from up north. She was an amazing photographer. She met us and took great pictures. It was the most stormy, windy day in
Those
history.
look the best. Though.
It was yeah. So like the day before, it like totally rained. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna rain on your way." And I'm like, "It's not gonna rain. It's gonna be windy. It's gonna be cold. Chill out." It did not rain, but it was windy as heck. But it was cool because the trees, when she took pictures of the trees behind us, they were like waving in the breeze. My wife's hair was flowing. You know, my piece of hair that I had at the time was flowing.
Just the one.
My lock was flowing. I looked fantastic in my suit. So it totally makes sense. It makes it so sometimes you can a photographer like yourself can change the mood of not only so you can change a mood of a film or a video that you're doing for music or whatnot or a dramatic film, but you can literally have the power to change the presentation, I would say, of a life in a moment of time where either somebody's rocking out on the stage or somebody is getting married or you've had your first baby. You're the man that captures those moments.
Yeah, um, there's there's a lot you can edit in all kinds of things. You can make it look like a horror movie if you wanted to, right? Or a horror like photo, banner, picture, whatever. Um, it's interesting that like lighting, sound design for video stuff, and then editing is like most of it. And I say that on the other side of having nice gear because everyone like I'm a gear like snob for sure.
At some point, you got to get to like the good gear. Like you can't just be like me all for the rest of your life. You got to have like
So
good lights,
that
good,
first camera I
good
bought,
cameras.
that first camera I bought, I think was $700 for the body, right? So I think I spent like $1,000 total.
Oh my god!
That lasted me 3 months, and I was like, I'm done with this.
On to the next one. Now you have what the A3 to 7, I think you said.
I have the A7R3 and the A7S4.
Those are some sick cameras. Those are some sick, and that's just the body. You have multiple lenses and stuff like that. You have
Yeah, I got the A7S4s in there with the 24 to 70 G Master. So now I don't know, but when it came out, that's like 5,500, 6 grand, something like that.
holy crap! So now it's probably 8 grand. Something like that.
Well, it's probably less because new stuff comes out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But the equivalent to that would be like an $8,000
well,
camera.
but I realized like that I can money buys me a clock, but it doesn't teach me the value of time, right? Right, like I can tell time with it, but like you don't really know that. So like putting the money into the clock and then learning how to use it really like kind of starts to generate that, and it's hard to start that. But honestly, what I did to motivate myself was I put it on a credit card with no interest, and went, okay, I have to pay this off. Like here's what I have to pay every month.
Dang.
And I don't have a choice. So I like kind of held myself accountable in a weird way that stressed me out because money stresses me out.
So it made you hustle on your business better?
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, I need that number. I need 300 or I need 500 this month, and it made you hustle. That's crazy. That's kind of like we had Greg Sala on the show a while back, and he was starting out his nail business, and it was the same thing. It was like they had to pay bills, they had no money. He had to go out, sell product, come right back, pay the bills. It was kind of that hustle, that early hustle in the game.
Yeah, I was like talking about perspective and kind of shifting that, and one of the things I think about is like, people like look at the whatever mountains in front of them. So I worked music retail for 9 years.
Were you in the Guitar Center gang with everybody else too?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have another Guitar Center gang member.
That's how we all met.
Mike, Austin, I don't know if Austin's involved in that gang.
I didn't meet Austin that way, but I met Mike that way.
But Mike's in there.
Eric that way.
Eric's in there. Rich was there.
I don't know if was Richard. I don't think so. I
Half
think
of you guys are like.
well,
guitar
I know Rich played in bands with guys that worked there, so like he was kind of like in that family already. I have a lot of people hate on that place, like
They hate on Guitar Center?
well
Why?
for working there, and you know
For working there?
people are sour.
That's a great job.
I had a great experience.
You get to play drums all day. You can play any drums that you want.
I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, you don't get to play any guitar? No. What about the guitars?
I mean, afterwards, after hours.
After hours.
But yeah, working that, I would do that, and any of the free stuff I was managing, right, and so I worked in the mornings usually, so I'd be done by like 5, and then I'd go out and I'd shoot bands and things until like 2 in the morning, and then I started again at like 6 or 7 a.m. So
6 in the morning at Guitar Center?
Yeah.
Dang.
So I was doing like warehouse stuff too. So I really didn't sleep then, and that's like how the hustle really started. And then it went to the amp stuff, and that's why I went from like, again, it was super surreal to go from like local bands and little stuff to like iconic amps and things.
Working for the manufacturer. How did you end up meeting that guy from the manufacturer?
I was at NAMM, and I had another friend of mine, a good friend of mine. Well, actually,
somebody I know too.
Probably. So did you meet Alex?
No.
Smushburger Alex?
Smashburger Alex?
Smushed burger.
Smushed burger.
That's what he calls me, smash burger. Right? It's a smash burger.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a smush burger.
No, where's Alex from?
Here. Alex lives locally. I'm sure he'd come over and hang out.
That's crazy. I gotta call that guy.
I'll tell him.
Smushburger?
Yeah. So you know how Mike does his catering thing?
Yeah.
Alex does like smash burgers.
No.
With
Oh,
the same
I gotta
kind of
have him over. We gotta have some smash burgers on this Twitch channel for sure.
Yeah. He I mean, he probably convinced him to bring stuff because he just brings like he uses like a griddle, and it's like super simple.
Small setup.
Dude, it's kind of like In-N-Out where it's like super simple, but it's just dialed.
The best per.
It just doesn't need anything else.
Oh my gosh! I gotta
it's
have
like
this guy.
it's so straightforward. It's good. Like,
oh my god!
You know what I mean?
Alex, if you're listening to this, I need you on the show ASAP, as soon as possible.
So yeah, he worked at that place, and I bumped into him at NAMM, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it was like, so I realized that I didn't like I wanted to do like my thing, and I wanted to do the photography stuff, and I really wanted to push.
Yeah.
But the mountain to get out of like a regular job was so big.
Oh, anybody who's starting a new business is like just getting out of that job. Like I had a Fat Perps over yesterday, and he started his catering business, and he's still working the side, working his day job and doing catering, and they're blowing up, and he's trying to find that balance. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I kind of went. I had this realization of perspective, right, when I'm talking about, like, because that's what I tell everybody about, like, photography and why I like it. I like to be able to show a different perspective and, like, right. And then I realized that what if that mountain's just a perspective for me, and it's just a hill, right? It's just how I see it. I see it as a mountain, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I kind of realized that mountain was me. It wasn't even an actual mountain. I just needed to get over my own fear and just go. And so I just kind of sent it.
So sometimes that's the thing. It's our own inner voices that are saying, you can't, or doubts and stuff like that. So you had that sort of epiphany where you had to picture that goal, and then the thing that stood in your way, that mountain, you realized it was actually yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I think the only thing that can outdo hard luck is hard work. You know, so like if I don't have to be like better, I don't think I'm a great photographer or a great videographer by any means.
I would disagree. The pictures are amazing.
I'm just trying to outwork people. You know what I mean? Like if I can, but the flip side of that is that you learn stuff, so you get better, right? Like it's not like I'm talented. I just keep going and learn things, and
you outwork the person.
I'd like to think so. Probably not, but I try.
No, but I've heard that before. That's crazy. That because Greg brought that up when he was on the show too. Is like, he's like, the one thing you can't do, you can maybe do something great, but you cannot outwork me. Like that was his perspective on things. And he's like, and the one thing he said is, I like to win.
Yeah, I do. I think that's like a successful person mindset. Like it's
Right.
like I will out like, you know, back to like Mike. Mike shows up to do the thing, right? And he's not going to sit there and tell you like he was very clear with me. I mean, here's something about Mike. Mike went. I asked him. I said, "Oh, that's cool. You have a gray chef's coat. Like that looks great." And he was like, "Yeah, I feel like it's wrong to wear a white one. I'm not a chef. I'm a cook."
Mm. Yeah, Mike is a very interesting.
He's a great guy.
He's
I
great.
love that guy.
He's not only great.
Don't tell him though.
His like the way he thinks about things. Like he's very deep thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you talk to Mike, that's what I loved about having him on the show. We could have gone on for 2-3 hours because he can get in real detail about not just cooking, music. He's the one that told me to buy the mic that I have right here.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
good
mean,
Mike.
he's got so much knowledge about music, about food.
That guy will read something and remember it forever.
Is that the way his mind is?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm just kidding. I'm just like
It's unreal.
I'm starting to like get to know him, so it's just great. There's just layers like these onion.
Dude,
You know a lot more than I do.
Yeah, he's so he and I played a lot of video games together.
Uh-oh.
And so we would just
That could take you down a whole nother rabbit
we
hole.
just BS while we go, right? And like it's like some like profound conversation or like deeply political or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
And we're like just like playing Destiny. like it's kind of funny. Yeah, yeah. I just kind of got over being worried, and actually, as COVID was hitting, I just kind of jumped and I did like freelance stuff all on my own. Right now, I'm helping a guy manage, strangely, some bowling pro shops and helping create.
You're helping to manage bowling shops.
The shops that like drill the balls and stuff.
Yeah, there's so there's a bowling alley,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's this tiny little shop like way in the corner somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and they drilled out your bowling balls, or they sell you the shoes. Because I'll tell you what, when I went to go bowling, there was no way I was wearing those shoes, and they spray the stuff, and I wanted my own shoes. Bought the shoes from the store. So this guy has a bunch of
Yeah,
these
he's
stores?
got 5 of them, and then I'm starting to help him with video stuff too. So like it'll kind of be I'll help him with some of the shops.
What's that guy's name?
His name's John. The shop's called Professional Approach.
John with the Professional Approach. If you're listening to this, I need you on the show immediately. I'm a huge bowling fan. We love bowling here on the show.
Do
John,
we?
we need you on the show. Yes,
Do we?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, I met him with Alex, the Smushburger guy. We bowled in a league together, and there was like a demo day for some new balls that were coming out, and I took a couple pictures, and then not that long after, I started helping John just here and there, and now I'm helping him a lot.
Dang.
I'm like doing like videos and stuff for him. Yeah.
So he's on point with his Instagram and all that stuff. So he wants to do all that.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Little by little. Yeah.
Hell yeah, my man. Crazy. We're here with Jeff Schultz again. Lots of experience in photography. If you want to check out his Instagram, that's Schultzzy.
Yep.
Schultzzy.
That's just what people ended up calling me a lot, and
Yeah.
that just kind of.
It's got a ring to it.
I guess.
Schultzzy. 2 Z's.
Well, it's because the onesie is already taken.
Oh,
so I had to.
You had to add the Z?
Yeah, I did put Z, an extra Z, and then a Y, right?
Just because I think it worked out better for you.
Listen. I started Instagram, and I think I was like following random like musicians and stuff, and didn't post anything. Actually, when I started Instagram, I didn't do photography at all.
That account right there, it used to be just your own like personal account.
Yeah, it was nothing.
It was just like you playing video games and stuff like that. With,
No, I wouldn't even post anything. I wouldn't even post anything. I would just creep on everybody else.
You were just like.
I still don't post anything.
Dude. I mean, some of these pictures, I thought like James Hetchel was on it because this dude like this Metallica.
Oh, that's Mastodon.
Is that Mastodon?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's freaking awesome. Yeah.
You're talking heavy mustache, right?
Yeah. Short hair, but like yeah.
It's Billy Butterslacks.
Billy Butterslacks wants to come on the show, by the way. RageBlades.com. Man, I want to get you back to your family. You got a new baby.
I do.
You guys are supposed to be at a dinner right now. You did me the favor.
She's at dinner.
She's at the dinner already. You got to go back there.
Yeah.
You did me the solid of coming here tonight. I appreciate you, Jeff Schultzy.
You're very welcome.
Follow Jeff Schultzy. Anything you want to promote?
You?
Promote raceflaves.com.
Yeah.
Promote Race Flaves podcast.
There you
Promote Instagram. You guys live. We love having you. Promote Twitch. My people on Twitch.
You're getting it.
Let's do this all the time. Every time we're going to do an interview, we're going to give you guys a backstage access. We're going to have this July 7th. We're going to launch this on Spotify and iTunes. Make sure you follow me on raceflaves.com. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Twitch as well. This has been an amazing adventure with Jeff Schultzzy, the photographer, rock photographer, baby photographer, wedding photographer, quinceañeras. He'll do anything.
I've done one of those.
You did some quinceañeras?
I've done one.
Just
Just one.
Just one. He's got his experience. He's going to do it. You guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you soon. Take care. Boom. Awesome. How'd you like that? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I mean, I just bullshit. I'm not like, I'm not a huge, I talk a lot with the people that I'm close with.
Yeah.
I usually, I'm a support role kind of person. Like, I just like let people, it's back to photography. I don't want to be in the shot. I want to take the shot.
That's the interesting thing. That's why I like having you
I
on.
want to just like,
That's why I like having you
sit in the background.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that on Twitch. Guys, thank you so much for joining. We're going to try to do more of this stuff on Twitch. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, Race Flaves. We will see you guys soon. Bye-bye, Twitch. Thank you so much, Ramon. Lee.
Oh, speaking of.